Thank you, Chair. I represent the lowest income congressional district in America. The lowest income Americans are hit the hardest by the crippling cost of the National Flood Insurance Program. Under rating 2.0, FEMA's intent on raising premiums.
That's going to do.
The gentleman from New York, Mr. Torres, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. I represent the lowest income congressional district in America. The lowest income Americans are hit the hardest by the crippling cost of the National Flood Insurance Program. Under rating 2.0, FEMA's intent on raising premiums by as much as 18% a year for as long as 10 years, and FEMA would be raising premiums even higher than 18% were it not for the statutory cap that Congress put in place several years ago. And so an even stronger cap is needed to protect the lowest income families from rapidly rising flood insurance payments. You brought up earlier the notion of calculating premiums in light of income. And when it comes to housing, the threshold for affordability is 30%, right? No one should pay more than 30% of their income toward their rent. What would be the threshold when it comes to flood insurance policy?
So the program that we designed and the administration supports that we recommended looks at it from the average mean income of the property owner. The affordability framework that we developed actually outlined a number of ways that you could develop a affordability program. So we're certainly willing to look and have a conversation with you if there's a different manner in which we can provide this much needed support.
Is that something you would study, that what would constitute an affordable percentage of one's income with respect to flood insurance?
I would, my sense would be, I'm not an expert in that.
Because that's the approach we take with student debt, with affordable housing, so why approach it differently with respect to flood insurance?
We looked at the most effective way, in our opinion, is what we've proposed. We certainly will look at different ideas if you have them.
I want to move on. If you live in a special flood hazard area and have a federally backed mortgage, you're required to have flood insurance, but not every person who lives in a special flood hazard area with a federally backed mortgage has flood insurance. Do you track noncompliance, and if so, what's the number of people who fall into that category?
So we do not. That's actually a lender requirement, not an NFIP requirement, and so we don't track those numbers. I think there's been some study done on it. We could provide you the information that we have, but the lenders would have that information.
I'm assuming the more participants in the program, the more financially sustainable the program?
Well, actually, from an insurance perspective, it depends where those policyholders are. So it's not as simple.
Do you have a sense of where the enforcement is breaking down? As far as the mandate?
I don't know that the enforcement has broken down, so I can't comment.
Just judging by the noncompliance, that would seem to suggest that there's a breakdown in enforcement. You know, FEMA has a new methodology, rating 2.0. I've heard complaints that the new methodology for calculating premiums is largely known only to insiders and is opaque to the rest of us, particularly state and local governments. Does FEMA have any plans to make its methodology for calculating premiums more accessible and available to the public and pertinent stakeholders?
Mm-hmm. So the rating methodology that we developed that for the first time reduced 1 million policyholders' premiums on an average $60 a month. We've provided that methodology publicly already. We've also provided premium calculation worksheets and a number of other tools on our website that agents and companies have.
So you feel like there's sufficient transparency?
I believe we have been very, very transparent.
So we've heard otherwise from New York State. Do you know why people are under the impression that your method is insufficiently transparent?
Sir, I think that we've done a good job of providing all of the information someone needs.
So where's the misunderstanding?
To assess the program, and GAO will be issuing their.
Do you have a sense of where the misunderstanding is, or?
Excuse me?
Where's the misunderstanding? Because there's a common complaint that I've heard is that there's a lack of transparency around your methodology. You seem to be claiming otherwise. So I want to understand where's the breakdown in communication, where's the misunderstanding?
I don't know the answer to that.
It's something I would want to explore. Would the program be solvent if the federal government paid the debt associated with FEMA, with Katrina?
Well, the program is backed by the full faith of the U.S. Treasury now, and so You know, solvency is,
But apart from the full faith, you know, the program historically has been self-sustaining, self-financing. Would you be, go ahead.
yeah, I mean, actually, it has not been self-sustaining, and the very nature of a catastrophic insurance program indicates that it would be very challenging for it to ever, if not impossible, for it to ever be self-sufficient.